Hey, good afternoon. This is Mary Lou Foster, Bright Star Stamper. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator located in Northeast Texas. Welcome. It is Wednesday, November the 16th, and I am so happy to be here. Don't know about you, but things are really picking up around here as far as activities, and I'm checking my volume, make sure you can hear me all right. Turn off my notifications, turn up my phone. All right. So hopefully, looks like everything is good that direction. I'm just not hearing it yet. Oh, maybe I need to. Looks like everything is good that direction. Yep. Mute that. Excuse me, I went right in front of your face. Going to watch on my iPad also. So if you join me, please comment that you're watching. That's the only way I'm going to be able to see who's there. The screen I have in front of me just shows live. It doesn't show there's someone watching. Gonna refresh the page over here. Nope. Alright, so I'm about ready to get started. I am using Bottled Happiness today. I know I told you we would have a Christmas card and a birthday card. So this can be, I don't like the way that looks, a little crazy. When I watch the video later, I'm like, oh, I was kind of wonky just a little bit. You know, wonky is a technical term, right? Found it. All right, let me turn this down. All right, so let's get started because this one has a lot of steps in it. It's just gorgeous. The paper that I'm using, this really pretty paper, is from the Texture Chic Specialty Designer Series paper. And I have kind of created a different kind of view board with this using our album and the Memories and More pages, because on this side you see the fronts, and then when you flip it you can see the backs of this beautiful paper. I didn't even know there was one that had snowflakes on it. This is the Texture Chic. And then it's kind of seasonal because you've got one that has seashells. And when you flip that over, kind of dogwood, fallish, lots of splatters. It's specialty paper because it does have the gold foil, some shine to, shine to it. I know that shows up even with all the lights reflecting off my plastic sheets. So I pulled that paper out. I saw someone using it for the snowflakes, and I was like, where did they get that? And that's what I found out, that it was out of that pack of paper. So I had, sitting on my little desk here, one of these bottles, because there's a punch. The Bottled Happiness has the stamp that you can stamp the bottles, and then it coordinates with a punch. So I'm like, you know what? I need to pull that stamp set back out, because you can make this any season based on your color palette. And I kind of leaned a little bit towards fall, but not all the way. And my favorite thing to do, you know, is to look on the back of the package to see what colors does this paper coordinate with. And that's how I came up with my palette. Mango Melody, kind of a totally unexpected color. Pool Party, put them together and you've got your bouquet of flowers. And we're going to stamp the bottle in crumb cake today. I did some little sample stamping of crumb cake and soft suede because I couldn't decide what I wanted to do. So this is first generation crumb cake. This is first generation soft suede, and then I stamped it the second time. I felt like that bottle was a little bit too dark, that it kind of overpowered the whole card. So this one didn't stamp very nicely. If it had stamped more solidly, that was one option, but it's very, very close to crumb cake, that second generation of the soft suede. So that's what we're going to go with for our bottle today, is just crumb cake. Growing up, my dad found some bottles that were shaped like this, and Mother had a flower arrangement in it. I think that was a popular thing to do back in the 70s. And we ended up with two of them. He found them underneath a house. I don't think it was our house. Our house was built in the 1953 by the Work Progress Administration, the WPA. I grew up in a rock house. Nothing in the house was square, but it gave men a job, and they were stone layers, carpenters, craftsmen, what do they call them? Like the plumbers and electricians. And then Mother and Daddy bought it, and anytime there was a remodeling project going on, it was a major ordeal because nothing was square. They didn't have the tools in those days to make things as square. So let's go ahead. This card is oriented with the top fold. It's cut at 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2, and then when you fold it, it opens to the top. That was another little thing that was different about this card. For some reason, oh, there it is. See, I've got a different card base. It's on soft suede, go figure, because that is one of the coordinating colors. I'm going to go ahead and put my liner, if my adhesive will work for me. On the inside of the card, it's cut that 1/4 inch smaller, 4 by 5 1/4, because I like to have just a little bit of matte around the edge. I'm not going to show you the inside of the sample card just yet. I'm not exactly sure why I have a big piece. I've already done the die cutting. I use these awesome deckled rectangle dies. If you don't have these dies, it gives it just a little bit of a distressed edge. It's not perfectly straight like if you use your cutter. I really like the look, especially with this texture chic paper, because, you know, shabby chic is a thing. And I kind of lean that direction sometimes. So I've got my bottle, and I want to start with my bottle. I could start with the flowers, but I'm going to start with my bottle, and I'm going to put it towards the bottom of this center panel. Whoops, I nearly whacked myself with that ink pad. And the nice thing about the photopolymer stamps, you can see through them, and you can see how the ink is sitting on that stamp. And it can be right smack in the middle. It doesn't have to be off to the side. It does have a label that goes over it. And I didn't use my piercing mat underneath it. I probably should have. It's photopolymer, and it's kind of a larger image, but it actually stamped just fine. I'm going to put things in that tub as I go. I don't think I'm going to need the crumb cake anymore. Put that up. Now, everybody always wants to know, which do you stamp first? The stems or the flowers? And I like to stamp the stems first. It has the flowers on it, so I'm going to do it in the Mango Melody. And the leaves and stuff will be in Pool Party. And there is kind of a sweet spot. See this notch? That's the place that I chose to fit it right up next to the bottle. It has one over on this other side also, which gives it a different look. You can even choose this one. It just kind of nestles right on it. But I'm going to go back to this original one. I like these stems going up, and that's just me. In nature, they maybe are droopy stems, but on my card, they're going to be upright. And I'm just eyeing up, kind of want that flower to touch it. And once again, I did not get my mat. But you can kind of see also that it's sitting pretty flat, and you go, oh, there's stuff missing. Yes, we're going to put the pool party, and that's going to fill in those voids. I love these stamps. I mean, right now it looks kind of weird. Incomplete would be a good word. Somebody's getting concrete or dirt work done today. That crazy dump truck has been up and down and up and down. Now we get to figure out. All right, so I've got a flower right here, and I have a flower right here that they need centers. And so I can see the centers, and since you can see through these, you can kind of tell if you're going to, look at that, pretty good. The centers of the flowers, the leaves that are extra. Right now it looks kind of dark, but when it dries, it'll be a little bit lighter, and it'll coordinate really pretty with the background. So I have the circle, and I am going to stamp that sentiment in soft suede. I wanted it to be a little darker. Move this out of the way. Sending a little message. And I thought that would be appropriate. You can leave the inside blank just to send a little message, write your own message. You can send a birthday greeting. That's a little message. You can just thinking of you. I have this stamp set called Inspired Thoughts that has several options for an inside. And what we did for this card was actually nothing, but I did stamp a little bit of interest with the one of the stamps out of the Bottled Happiness. And I'll do it in soft suede. That goes on the inside. But this time, I think I want it this direction and that direction. I could have kind of lined them up, but it's stamped. Right now, I'm not going to put a sentiment on the inside of this one either, but I am going to finish the front. So we have this really pretty, look at those flowers. And I'm going to do it that direction. The flowers, not going to see them a whole lot, but it's a lot of texture. So this piece is cut 4 by 5 1/4. And you notice it's the front and the back because we're going to use the opposite side for the strip that goes down the side. I don't know what in the world all that is. So do you have your Christmas cards made yet? I have a lot of Christmas cards made, but I send a lot of Christmas cards. And of course I have my vendor booth up at Good News Christian Bookstore, so hopefully people, oh, I said that was the other side, but it's not actually. And this piece is the full length of the front of the card, which is 5 1/2. And I bordered it over just a little bit so some of that pretty paper shows. And I just stuck this down flat, and I put my little message on dimensionals. Some people would have also put this on dimensionals, and I just didn't want it to get too tall, if that makes any sense. And now it's up to you if you want more of that showing. And I believe that's going to be perfect. And then the message. And we are going to use some dimensionals. 3 ought to get it. Make them sort of in a triangle shape. Sending a little message. Did you notice the embellishments? I love these butterflies. These are brushed brass butterflies. Say that fast. And I kind of wanted to keep it a little bit masculine-ish, because, you know, you can send flowers to men as long as they're not all roses and fluffy stuff. But I felt like it needed, where should I put this one? I think I will put it right there, a little bit higher. And then you probably cannot see it, but I use Wink of Stella on that bottle. Most of the time, glassware is not just matte or flat. So I got the inspiration. Ooh, let's put some Wink of Stella and give it just a little bit of sparkle. And I want to be careful, because, you know, Wink of Stella, you can also use that to pull color. And I don't want to do that on those lines. I want those lines to stay just like they are. So I took just a little bit more care in putting on the Wink of Stella. I didn't just slap it on there. And that is our first card. So I do have one kit left. And if you place a $50 order, I can send you that kit in the mail, along with instructions of how to assemble the card. A little kit to go. I don't know if you saw it or not, but we're having a seasonal sale on Stampin' Up. And there are stamps that are 10% off. Punches are on sale. Dies are on sale. And the non-specialty paper. This paper would not be on sale because it's specialty. But they're varying amounts off. I'm not going to try to quote those amounts, and I did not print that information to show you. I did send out an email. If you're not on my email list, please send me your email. Comment on this post. My email is up in the header on Facebook, and it's on YouTube. It's MaryLouFoster74@yahoo.com. I can put that in the description also. That's how you're going to get the information about sales, about specials, about my upcoming classes. So those are just pretty nice cards, sending a little message. It could be a sympathy card too. But, all right, and let's move on to our other. I didn't change much at all on this one, but the card I'm going to show you, it's a Christmas card. It's going to have some heat embossing. Going to change up some colors and use some different mediums here. I also have an extra one of these kits that I can include, so you would have 2 card kits for your $50 order. I have a host code, and I will put that in the comments. I left it in the other room. I did not bring it in here with me. So let's get our supplies organized a little bit. What I thought I might try different on this card is coloring those trees. This looks kind of naked a little bit. My daughter-in-law loves just black and white. Their wedding was just black and white with a little bit of silver. But sometimes it's a little plain. It can be very classic, and she's a very classic person. I just love her to death. I love her because she loves my son. So, who likes to heat emboss? That is magic, because you can take something like, the best way to get white letters on especially this black circle is to heat emboss it. In the little mini catalog, let's see, let me tell you what page it's on. They have re-released an embossing set, a tool set. Let me see, it's on page 49. And if you've not ever had the tray to catch your powders, the brushes, and there's a set of tweezers. I have tweezers, but not these. And the embossing buddy is back. We've been without that embossing buddy. And it's kind of the magic secret to preparing your piece of paper that you're going to be embossing. It helps remove the static. It's just like using powder. It does get powder everywhere. Let me see, where can I put that? We're going to use Versamark. Does anybody know what Versamark is? It is actually a watermark stamp pad. It stamps clear, but it's also tacky or sticky. So the embossing powder sticks to the letters. I just want to make sure that, you know, remember, don't squish that in. Tap, 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 tap. Move it around on the pad. Some spots are wetter than others. You want that good and inky. The nice thing about a circle, you can make whatever side you need to, the straight edge. Well, straight as a circle can get. Now I'll be here all week. I'm going to use my tray. When my ceiling fan is going, my embossing powder goes everywhere. See, look how nice it is. And I'm pretty happy with it. I believe I will put some more on there, because you can reapply that powder. Just be careful and don't touch any of your anywhere on there, because you don't want to mess that up. That looks like it's going to work out really nice. And I put it right back in. It has a funnel. Sorry, I'm right up under your nose, I know. And the extra I just dust off into my trash can. Put the top back on it, because you don't want to accidentally spill your embossing powder all over your workstation. Luckily, I don't think I've ever done that. I'm going to do this, clean this. It was my last card class. My husband is having knee surgery the 7th of December, and he's usually kind of down for the first couple of weeks till he gets the staples out. We'll be home a lot, and so my next card class is December the 29th, and that's kind of with a question mark, just depending on how he's doing. He should be back getting around enough that I could have ladies to come over. So did you see how that went from dull to shiny? And I know it's kind of loud, but the first time I heat embossed something, it was just amazing. It was, I don't know, it's just hard to explain, but you watch that, and I always kind of start on one side. And when it finally gets hot enough, it starts melting and it starts getting shiny. And I just chase it right across the letters. And that's just awesomeness. Maybe like it just a little bit. All right, so we have our label. And, oh, I'm not going to have the die. It is in the celebration tags. So X's and O's means love and kisses. My mother was from Michigan, and her mom every time she sent us letters would have X's and O's in them. That's how I came to love X's and O's. And she would say, these are for Mary Lou and these are for Keith. All right, so my little die, I'm not going to go get it because I don't want to take the time. I'm just going to use my scissors and trim this down just with a little white edge. This one was too hard to die cut first. Sometimes when you come to my card class, I provide you the kits, and I sometimes will have a lot of the die cutting done for you. It just saves you a little time. And we get a little crowded, so it's hard to get up and down. But this one, you pretty much had to stamp it first because it's very small. See, that didn't take any time at all. So we have that part. I did the die cutting for the snowflake. Now let's talk about coloring these. I think what I'm gonna do, on one of my samples, I used Stampin' Blends. Of course, you would have guessed that. But you know, for this one, I think I'm gonna use just regular markers. We have markers that match our ink pads. Like you can buy the whole family. Let me use the brush. It has a pen and then a brush. I just ordered the markers for the, I think this Regal's collection. I had started doing that. We get rewards for celebration. We get commissions based on sales of for our sales and our team. And you can use that. It's like rewards. You can reward yourself. The thing about markers, I find them a little bit more difficult to work with because they aren't quite as forgiving as the alcohol-based ones. So, and I'm just going to mix them. This is back to a Stampin' Blend. But I'm thinking this little Harlequin print tree needs some color. The lady who has that tree got a little bit carried away. And I have a Daffodil Delight. I'm going to use the nub, the littler end to color some stars. And mostly I just need to color what's over here on the left side. And let's color this tree. This is Old Olive. Now I'm back to just the regular marker. This one has been used. It's a little bit frayed. You don't really have to press very hard to get the effect that you want. So we'll see if we like this or not. We can vote on it. That's always fun. What other colors do I have? Granny Apple Green, I don't think so. I think I'm gonna stop right there. If I need to add some more after I get the card. Now that's the difference. You can see the alcohol, the Stampin' Blends, they bleed through. But the markers don't. They're water-based. And this is very teeny tiny frame. It's only cut the 1/8 of an inch larger. I just think that's going to add some interest to it. And I kept saying that the day of my card class. I'm like, you know, we really should have colored those trees. All right, so what I had to do different for my card for you today, I ran out of this green ribbon. I have since restocked, but I decided, you know what? You don't always have to use ribbon. So I cut some strips of, this is Evening Evergreen, that lovely glimmer paper. And I'm gonna cut the little slants. Probably should, oops. Make sure they're gonna be long enough. Duh. If not, I'll cut them in half show you how you can cheat. Get my little pieces of trash out of the way. Okay, so if I didn't cut it long enough, cut it in half. And I'm going to have to cut this one in half. And I might have left this one long enough. Not really. So we're going to put some strips of adhesive on the back. Come on. And just make that look how you want it. Oops. At whatever angle. My finger is sticking to the... And there. And there. This one can be kind of shorter. And that one can be wherever you want it. Yep. And the nice thing about it, it's kind of repositional. Or you can reposition it. Probably needed glue dots. We'll see. Oops. So that will go on dimensional. And here's what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to use them to be sure and anchor my little pieces of glimmer paper, because that stuff is hard to stick. The glimmer part of it is so porous that it's really not easy. Probably liquid glue would have worked well. So I put a dimensional on each strip. Since it's not being mounted flat on the front of the card, that was going to give those strips a little bit of room to wiggle. And since this one is hanging over the edge, let's cut it a little bit. You don't want it to hang out so far that you can't put it in the envelope. And then that is just mounted flat. So, right there. And then our snowflake. This is cut from the Celebration dies too. Those tags are amazing. You can make a tag that can be a gift card holder. The fun part about it, it has a hole that you can put a ribbon in the top of it. So I'm not sure how they're supposed to get their gift card out, but I guess they just tear it up. So I think I do like the trees colored. I can color this tree right here. What color should we color it? Let's do it. We'll do it the light old olive. Could have gotten the evening evergreen. And then we've got a tree right here that has some. And let's add some here. And a little bit of red here. So you may be wondering where the paper came at for this snowflake. It is some of the specialty paper. Let me see if I can find it. Oh. It's called Festive Foils, and all I have left is that little dab of the gold, the pretty soft succulent, and I have a lot of the red left. And it, pardon me, it has some sparkly. That one didn't get very much sparkly. That one got some, because it has stars or snowflakes. So I tried to pick a spot that would have sparkles. Maybe it didn't do so well. The inside of the card is Inspired Thoughts. If you don't have that stamp set, that was the one I showed you back here with the other card. It has a Christmas stamp, wishing you all the beautiful gifts of Christmas, and a sympathy, a congratulations, sending healing thoughts, thinking of you on your special day. That stamp set's in the annual catalog, and guess what? It's on sale right now because of the seasonal sale that we're having. So you might want to look it up. I can give you the item number and put that on your list. That sale goes off Friday, and it's midnight Mountain Time. I always say midnight our time, because you'd have to stay up till 1 o'clock to hit Mountain Time. And it's while supply lasts. So you know you don't want to wait too long. Let's see, do I want the green? No, probably not. Probably should just stick with the trees, because the back side of that paper is some pretty green. Seen some cute cards with that side of the paper too. And that paper is a host set, and it's part of the mini catalog. So it will go out the 4th of January. And your party has to be over $150 to qualify to get it. But I would love to have a party with you, for you, private card class, whatever, so that you can, oh, I'm not going to stamp that. All right, so this is your chance now to tell me, which one do you like better? The one with the colored trees, the one with the black and white trees? I think I like the color. Not going to sway you in either direction, but I think I like the color. So like I said, I've got one more kit. If you place an order that's over $50, I will send you both those kits. No stamping, no embossing. You'll get to do all of that yourself with stamps that you have. You can color your trees or not color your trees. Totally up to you. So that offer is good for a week, and then I'm going to assemble them for my own use. So don't wait too long. That was all I had for you today. I just wanted to show you a couple more cards. I really appreciate your time. Goodness, I didn't realize my phone was quite so crooked, but I guess it worked out all right. It looks okay where I'm looking from. So I will put the host code in the description. So if you're interested in placing that $50 order to get these 2 kits, then you'll have that. I'll link it directly to my store. And I really appreciate you stopping by, and I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.